Hi, Mary from Reviewer's Diary, and I have a couple of books that I read in April that I can give you some reviews on. Okay, so I think this one I finished in March. Not quite positive, but anyway, this is from April. So I will start first with the fiction, and then I'll move on to the nonfiction. So, first book is Thomas Perry Vanishing Act. Now, he wrote a series about Jane Whitefield, who is one of those people that helps people disappear. She is part Seneca Indian. It's about I want to say the proper word, Native American, but that's not how she refers to herself in this book. It is told strictly from her point of view, but it's told on third person, but we only know what's happening with her. So that actually, puppy woke up. That actually makes things a little bit more interesting because we can see things from her perspective, but it's told by a third-person narrator. Now, I've always loved the idea of people who can make people disappear, like the witness relocation people and, people like this. She doesn't take money, but she knows she has connections that can help her to spirit people away, give them new identities, and pretty much generally speaking helps people to start a new life. And she's helped several. They tell it in backstory in this because this is the first of the Jane Whitefield novels. I was really interested in the Seneca history that was sprinkled in and out of here because I do have Seneca Indian blood in my ancestry, and it's not that far back. So even though I don't look Indian, my brother Patrick looks very much like Native American. My husband also has Native American in him, and he looks very Native American. Stop! Please stop! So I was very interested in the history. Now, if you're not that interested in the history when you're reading this book, you can just page right past a lot of it, but it does explain why Jane acts the way she does. Why Jane is able to find people when she needs to find them. I don't want to say too much because it will ruin the story, but she has a client show up at her home uninvited and doesn't have a referral from anyone, but she had helped a friend of his that he met in prison, escape and start a new life. Well, here he is with a big giant bag full of money, and he says he's a retired police officer, and so she at first doesn't trust him too much, but then she learns to really trust him in a big way. And there's so much that goes on here, so many twists and turns, so much action that get down, so much action that you just wouldn't believe could be packed into one book. So I do really recommend this. I did write a full review that does show up on my blog, and I'll put an address here somewhere. So this is the fiction book that I really enjoyed. I'm trying to read 12 books in a year. That's not a problem. It won't be, but I'm kind of behind already. Anyway, the next book I want to talk about is this Letters to a Young Writer. Now, this is an advanced, uncorrected copy that I got, so that's why you see this black line across the top. I got this from Amazon, and I am in the Amazon Vine program, so I occasionally get stuff like books to review and a lot of other stuff, but I try not to. It's not like Octoly where you have to have 8 million followers. And by the way, just a word here, a lot of people are not telling you. They'll be like, I got this from Octoly and here's the address. Well, you have to have so many followers, you have to have so many unique views of your videos that it's really hard to qualify. I'm over 1,600 subscribers and I still don't qualify. So when I do, I will let you know. But with the Vine program, I've been a reviewer of books on Amazon since, I think pretty much since they opened their doors. I believe it says 1998 on my profile. So I was invited to be in the Vine program. And in the Vine program, you do get uncorrected books that you can review. You also get other stuff now. They've expanded it to not just books, but I still will pull out a book every now and then from there that looks interesting. So back to the book. This is written by Colum McCann, and it's Letters to a Young Writer. So you think, okay, so he wrote a book for teenagers. Oh, no. Actually, young writer just refers to anyone of any age. Yeah, he's tearing his bed apart. This is the time of day, it's the witching hour after work, because during work he's pretty calm and like low-keyed and sleeps a lot, and then dinner, work day ends and all hell breaks loose. But anyway, yeah, he's tearing his bed apart. Sits right down. He's a good boy most of the time. Letters to a Young Writer doesn't refer to anyone by age. So you can, in fact, he says in here, you could be 10, you could be 50, you could be 75. Doesn't matter. Basically, he's referring to people who are not yet professional writers, who haven't published a novel yet, and all that kind of stuff. And so this does have some instruction in it, but it's also funny as hell. Like, for example, my favorite chapter is called Don't Be a Dick. And basically, some writers become so snooty, like I'm a writer, so, some of them become really snooty. I know one personally that is like that. I'm not like that. But he is totally like into himself. And that is like basically what that chapter is about. It also follows up with a chapter that says, but don't be too, what is it called? Don't be too much of a pushover. Don't be too nice or something like that. Because nice people in the writing business can be taken advantage of. But basically, this is just a really good book with a lot of short chapters that give you some real advice that you can use if you're a writer or you know someone who's a writer. I just love this book. So you could see, I'll put a notation. I also did a review on my website, so I'll put a notation for this there, as well as on the website of a magazine, which currently is not, I'm not printing right now because it requires a lot of time. There might be an issue coming out in the summer, but literarybrushstrokes.com is what you should look for, and I believe I posted the review for this there as well. In fact, I'll put this video on there as well. So anyway, I recommend this book heartily to anyone who is interested in writing and just needs kind of a little push and a little bit of help. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been Mary with a couple of book reviews, which I haven't done book reviews in quite a while. But since I read so much, I'm going to start to do more book reviews, and so you can look forward to that coming your way. So thank you and have a beautiful evening. Good night.